If you want to take a gander at how a democracy can be dismantled, you don't need to look at uprisings or coups. You can simply just look at elections and draw the cursed line from there. A single thread that, when pulled correctly, can single-handedly undo a country's democracy. In Venezuela, this thread was of a particular color, and though we have no ability to undo how people voted in 1999, we can at least echo the slogans a certain politician made that led to its collapse. One, as a reminder so that we can adequately sew this tattered fabric again someday, but also as a warning for those out there. If you detect any of these 5 red flag slogans coming from your local politician's mouth, be very careful, if not outright afraid. This is Venezuela's warning to the world. Red flag number 1. Down with the old corrupt system. If your country finds itself stuck in a corrupt two-party system, be very afraid, for that symbiotic corruption might and can be replaced with yet an even worse system that swallows the corruption of both previous parties to become a unified, bigger, scarier, invincible corruption to which no chemo has been devised. In Venezuela, this happened exactly. We were already in a corrupt country, getting by on oil riches, but we were, so to speak, having a grand time of it. One way or another, the system was unsustainable, and when Carlos Andrés Pérez, our 47th and 50th president, dared to correct our course, the people felt it, and they were incensed, exposing this fragile state of bliss and opening it up for the people's fury. The flawed but growing democracy of Venezuela was about to be set on fire by vengeance and demagoguery stemming from this exposure. Being down with the old corrupt system didn't mean that things would be better in this case. It meant that Chavez would remove anything worthwhile of the previous system and inherit all of its corruption, just multiplied. So if you hear this slogan, be very careful. The elements that led your country to its current state are not just simply going to go away with someone new in office. Red flag number 2. The rich are bad and they are taking advantage of you. This blanket phrase could be, of course, tolerated at a drunken dinner table when you're complaining with a friend about your corporate job or about the elevated price of everything. But when a politician is telling you this, you might have to run like hell. This appeal to the bitter emotions one may fester in daily work life pretends to instill resentment and a feeling of hopelessness in people, while allowing the politician to reach into the rich person's pocket and take a lot of that money. And trust me, they will not be sharing any of that with you. Instead, they will employ their friends and family on some BS effort, gaining your moral support for their kindness and further cementing themselves on power. For if they are gone, they threaten to take away that effort away with them. They won't hand it to the enemy party, of course, and they don't want it anyways. They'll create their own system of enrichment, and always at your expense. Now, if in your life, wherever you are indeed being taken advantage of by rich people, I don't mean to invalidate you with this, because that is precisely the point. The politician will stand upon some real, but very, very nuanced and complex cause and run their entire campaign on it, just so that you can employ them as your next president, without any real idea of how to do anything about it, or even care to do anything about it at all. Because if anyone pretends to simplify economics like this, they're not an economist, and maybe not even a political strategist, but a marketing expert. Red flag slogan number 3. You will get things for free. Now, not a lot of politicians dare make this claim. Not everyone has as much oil as Venezuela, but you might hear other variations of it. If you are promised anything for free, don't take it, because anyone that pays bills knows that nothing is for free. And if it appears that way for now, know that shit will hit the fan eventually. Maybe not even for your generation, but the next one, or the next one multiplied. The point is that at some point, someone will be covered in shit, just because this politician wanted to get elected that badly. So if you care about your future generations and keeping shit out of the fan, I recommend you don't take the free candy from that strange man. Tell him that you want the freedom to work wherever you please if you can, and buy your own candy, thank you very much. Red flag slogan number 4. The system is rigged or broken. We'll fix the rules. This one doesn't sound dangerous at first. It might even sound necessary in some cases. The system is broken, they say. Let's start fresh with new modern ideas. But in Venezuela, rewriting the rules didn't mean fixing anything. It meant erasing everything that limited the presidency. First came a new constitution, drafted by loyalists, passed in a rush, sold to the public as a rebirth. It expanded executive power, weakened Congress, and centralized control of the courts. Then came the ministries, new agencies, a new Supreme Court. One by one, the guardrails fell. Laws were changed overnight, term limits erased, governors replaced by protectors, handpicked by the president, and when the National Assembly became an inconvenience, a new one was invented with no legal basis at all. It wasn't governance, it was administrative theater, performed to maintain power. When a politician says, "We're going to remake the system," ask, are they reforming something broken or are they clearing a path for themselves? In Venezuela, the more they rewrote, the less anyone could resist, until suddenly nothing stood between one man and everything. Red flag slogan number 5. No one will be left behind. This is a government for everyone. This sounds noble, humane, unifying, a country that cares for its most vulnerable, that cares for everyone, actually. But in Venezuela, it became something else entirely. Not a safety net, but a trap. The emptiest of promises for something so ambiguous and immaterial in the practical world. Of course, it leads to nothing. To upkeep appearances, the Chavez regime created jobs that didn't need to exist, handed out positions in ministries and state companies and social programs, not based on merit or need or capital or scientific research, but on loyalty, and also built on stolen property at that. A country flooded with public employees whose real job was to stay grateful, to vote the right way, to wear red shirts to rallies, to pretend the system worked. It wasn't about dignity, it wasn't about offering everyone jobs or education, it was about dependence, indoctrination, and control. Because once the government becomes your only source of income, your pension, your food, your housing, what happens if you stop clapping? In time, the state built a loyalty economy. The poor didn't rise, they were tethered, kept just fed enough, but never free enough to speak. So when a politician says, "No one will be left behind," is this compassion or control? In Venezuela, the hand that fed you came with strings attached, and every string led back directly to the palace. So if you hear any of these slogans around your parts, be very, very careful. And feel free to share below who you believe is saying them.